Okay, so when you think of Hokkaido, Japan, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For most of us, it's probably these incredible ski slopes, right? Amazing winter festivals, a landscape buried under feet and feet of perfect snow. But what if I told you that under all that ice, a whole new frontier is opening up? Yeah, we're talking about how Hokkaido is becoming this seriously surprising and exciting force in the world of wine.
I mean, it sounds almost impossible, doesn't it? Can you really grow grapes in a place that looks like this? Well, that's the big question that winemakers on Japan's northernmost island have been answering with a huge yes. But believe me, it is not easy. It's this incredible story of resilience, innovation, and really understanding a totally unique and challenging place to grow anything.
So let's just kind of flip the script on what we think we know. On the left, that's the classic postcard view of Hokkaido. But over on the right, that's the fascinating reality that's happening just beneath the surface. That deep snow, it's actually protecting deep vine roots. The tourism that drives those ski resorts, well, now it's discovering these amazing little boutique wineries. And those brutal, frigid winters, they are the secret ingredient to making some of the freshest, most elegant wines you'll ever taste. To really get the wine, you first have to understand the main villain in this story, Hokkaido's extreme, unforgiving climate. And we're not talking about just putting on an extra sweater. This is a serious year-round battle against the elements. So what's this number? Well, that's the entire growing season. Just 5 to 6 months. That's it. From about May to October, winemakers are in an absolute, flat-out race against the clock, trying to get those grapes from a tiny bud all the way to perfect ripeness before the cold comes roaring back. And when winter gets here, it is not messing around. We're talking about a deep freeze that just settles in for weeks and weeks. For most of the classic grapevines we know and love, the European ones, these kinds of conditions would just be a death sentence. Game over. And this shows you that the fight isn't just with the winter cold, it's a year-round gauntlet. You could get a late frost in the spring that just zaps all the young buds. Poof, the whole harvest is gone before it even started. Or an early frost in the fall could just slam the brakes on ripening. Then you've got summer humidity, which brings the risk of disease, and all that heavy snow can literally snap the vines in half. You start to see just how much grit these winemakers need. So how on earth do they pull it off? This is where the story gets really good. It shifts from being about challenges to being about incredible human ingenuity. The winemakers in Hokkaido aren't just farmers, they're pioneers, and they've written a whole new playbook for how to make wine in the cold. It all starts with being incredibly smart about where you plant. You can't just stick a vine in the ground anywhere. It's all about this idea of terroir selection. They plant on south-facing slopes, which basically act like giant solar panels, soaking up every last bit of sun. And being on a slope means the dense cold air, which is the real killer for frost, just drains away downhill, away from the precious vines. It's a natural defense system. Okay, now this is one of the most amazing things they do here. To protect their most important vines, they literally tuck them into bed for the winter. It's this super labor-intensive process where they bury the vines under a big mound of soil. And then the very snow that seems like the enemy becomes their best friend. It acts as a perfect natural insulating blanket, keeping the vines safe from the extreme cold. It's a brilliant way to work with nature instead of against it. Of course, you also need the right grapes for the job. And these are Hokkaido's all-stars. You've got these tough German varieties like Kerner and Bacchus that just love colder weather. Then there's Yamasachi, a local hero they developed that's incredibly resistant to the cold. And in a few very special spots, like near the coast in Yochi, they can even grow the notoriously fussy Pinot Noir. It's amazing. All right, so after all of that struggle, all of that innovation, what's the payoff? What do the wines actually taste like? Let's talk about the delicious reward you get for all that resilience. Hokkaido's signature is, without a doubt, its white wines. They're all about this incredible freshness and elegance. That cold climate means the grapes keep the super high, vibrant acidity that is just so refreshing. You get these beautiful, crisp aromas. Think green apple, citrus, maybe some delicate flowers, or a flinty mineral note. It's absolutely no surprise that they are a perfect match for Japan's incredible fresh seafood. And the reds? Well, they follow that same philosophy of elegance. So if you're expecting a big, heavy, bold red, think again. Hokkaido's reds are light-bodied, they have soft tannins, and they're all about pure, fresh red fruit flavors like cherry and raspberry. And here's a pro tip. Serve them with a little bit of a chill on them. It really makes that bright fruit character just pop.
And remember that signature high acidity we keep talking about? Well, it's the perfect ingredient for another style of wine where Hokkaido is getting a huge reputation: sparkling wine. That natural crispness is the backbone you need for world-class bubbly. It's putting Hokkaido on the map as a really serious player in the world of sparkling wine. So, what's next for this icy wine frontier? Look, Hokkaido is still what you'd call an emerging region, but its future looks incredibly bright. There's so much potential here. You can see it's kind of this balancing act. The journey is definitely not over. Climate change is a huge wild card. The production costs are high because of all that hands-on work, and they're still working on building a global name for themselves. But, and this is a big but, the opportunities are massive. People in Japan are more and more interested in local products. The potential for wine tourism is just huge, and they've already built this amazing reputation for quality that's only getting stronger. This quote from a sommelier really just nails it. Hokkaido's wines aren't just some weird novelty. They are proof of what's possible at the absolute edges of where you can grow grapes. They represent a genuinely exciting and valuable new voice in the huge, diverse world of wine. And that brings us to a final, really fascinating thought to leave you with. As many of the world's famous wine regions are getting hotter and hotter, could these tough, innovative, cold climate places like Hokkaido, places that have already mastered the art of adaptation, actually be showing us the future of fine wine? It's a thought that's as cool and complex as the wines themselves.